The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Along with all of its shows and attractions, Branson, Missouri is quickly becoming a top sports destination. Today, competition returns to Lake Taneycomo as Powerboat Nationals racing is back on Racer H2O. Race fans, welcome to Branson Landing in beautiful Branson, Missouri, where it is time for round number 3 of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series. Hello again, everyone. Alongside of Mikey Young and the rest of the Racer H2O crew, I'm Jared Romsberg. We are fired up to be back in Branson to bring you the action of Powerboat Nationals Pro Tunnel 2 boats. Let's talk about their qualifying, brought to you by the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com. In the first heat race, 41 James Klein had pole position and was in the lead as the fleet went into the first turns. But Klein had trouble in turn 2, and 21 Austin Cheatham and 72 Thomas Schlarb moved alongside, giving the fans a thrilling 3-wide battle for the lead on the first lap. Klein got out of the gas, allowing Cheatham and Schlarb to fight it out for the lead. Cheatham got the Branson 21 into the lead with Schlarb in hot pursuit at the end of lap 1. Schlarb stayed right with Cheatham for 4 laps, keeping the crowd of thousands locked on the battle for the lead. Then Schlarb shifted to the inside and beat Cheatham to the turn, putting the 72 into the lead. Then, from out of nowhere, the 18 of Jason Nelson snuck up on Cheatham and used the same move in the same turn, dropping the Branson Landing 21 back to third. They all lined up behind the 72, and Thomas Schlarb took home the win in Heat Race 1. In the second Pro Tunnel 2 heat race, Thomas Schlarb was on the pole with 18 Jason Nelson right next door. Nelson put up a fight at the start, but the 72 was just too strong, and Schlarb stayed ahead in the lead. Austin Cheatham tried to catch up, but the Branson Landing 21 was stuck back in third. 41 James Klein and 67 Ricky Sober were trying to move up and fight for the podium, but the front runners were just too strong. The 72 got out in front and stayed there, taking Thomas Schlarb to victory in the second PT2 heat. In the third and final heat, the 72 was on the pole again. 18 Jason Nelson was again on the outside in second. Schlarb beat everyone to the hole shot and picked up right where he left off out in front. Nelson and Cheatham gave chase, but the 72 stretched things out. 41 James Klein briefly threatened Cheatham with a challenge for the final step on the podium, but fourth is where he would stay in this race. Once again, they all lined up behind the 72, and Thomas Schlarb broke out the broom, sweeping all 3 rounds of qualifying for Powerboat Nationals Pro Tunnel 2 racing in Branson.
And this is my first time here, so I really didn't know what to expect. It's a little narrow course, but I really do like it for the 45s. I got a good line out there, and it runs pretty decent. The town here is amazing. I mean, there's so many things going on. I mean, yeah, you name it, it's here.
Here's how the Pro Tunnel 2 fleet will line up for the main event here in Branson. 2018 Series World Champion Jason Nelson will start second, with Austin Cheatham in the Branson Landing 21 in third. James Klein and Ricky Sober round out the top 5 starters for the Pro Tunnel 2 main event. Fans, don't go anywhere. We have highlights of the Pro Tunnel 1 main event, and then it's green to checkered coverage of the Pro Tunnel 2 feature race. That's all coming up here in Branson on Racer H2O right after this.
Racer H2O's coverage of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series is brought to you by Branson Landing, where shopping, dining, and entertainment takes center stage. By the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com. And by Towboat US. Towing you can trust.
highlights of Powerboat Nationals Pro Tonal 1 main event. Jim Robb in the Titanic Museum sponsored 37 earned pole position and led the fleet to the first turn. 35 Mike Lepadlo was in the outside lane, carried the momentum through the turn, and put the Walloon Central boat into the lead on the opening lap. Robb worked hard to catch up, but the 35 had more muscle coming out of the turn, and Lepadlo moved away. Shortly into the race, 55 John Eddy had trouble with his canopy. He somehow maintained control of his boat while fighting to get the canopy back into place. When it eventually came off, Eddy's canopy landed right in the middle of the front stretch, forcing Powerboat Nationals officials to throw the caution. On the restart, Lepadlo and Robb again went shoulder to shoulder down the front stretch for the lead. And again, Lepadlo shot his boat through the turns and retained the front spot. Back in third, David McMurray was trying to get the Nashville Marine 57 up with Lepadlo and Robb. But a freak windstorm moved into Branson, and a sudden gust of wind set McMurray hurtling into Lake Taneycomo, bringing out the second caution of the race. McMurray was okay, but the Nashville Marine 57 was out of the race. On the second restart, Mike Lepadlo picked up right where he left off, grabbing the lead ahead of Jim Robb and John Eddy in the first turn. Later that lap, Eddy roared up on the inside of Robb, moving the Titanic Museum 37 back to third and the double nickels into second in pursuit of Lepadlo. The 35 stayed on top of the leaderboard for the remainder of the race. Mike Lepadlo crossed the line, earning the checkered flag, winning his second Powerboat Nationals Pro Tonal 1 race of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series.
When we had the first incident, we stopped in red flag. I'm like, oh, dude, come on, man. Jim Robb beat me on the first time in Branson, and he's right on my tails. Him and McMurray, they pushed me like for the last 3 races, and so the stress level's up. And then we had to stop and he had to restart, and I'm like, oh, come on, man, please beat him in the first turn.
Lepadlo is joined by John Eddy and Jim Robb on the podium, a Powerboat Nationals Pro Tonal 1 feature race in Branson. Fans, don't go anywhere. The Pro Tonal 2 boats are moving onto the course. They race at Branson Landing on Racer H2O right after this.
This segment of Racer H2O's coverage of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series is brought to you by Towboat US. Towing you can trust.
Fans, welcome back to Branson Landing, where Powerboat Nationals Pro Tonal 2 fleet is making its way around out of turn 4, getting ready to start the main event. Get those chin straps buckled, fans. It's showtime in Branson. Here they come to the line. Thomas Schlarb, number 72, earned the pole. He swept every racing qualified. Green flag out, here we go. And Jason Nelson gets a jump on our pole center, moves the 18 down. Look out, whoa! Might have had some contact there as it went into the first turn of the first lap of this main event. Thomas Schlarb on the inside, Jason Nelson on the outside, and Nelson just slams the door on our pole sitter, shooting him through the rooster tail. And the 18th Screaming Eagle of the 2018 Series World Champion, Jason Nelson, takes off with the lead. Thomas Schlarb back in second. He's not going to let him go by easily. He moves to the outside, trying to find that clean, wake-free water to try to do something to catch up to the 18. Jason Nelson taking off with the lead. Thomas Schlarb, again, fans, dominated in qualifying here in Branson, back in second at the start of the feature race. Another battle shaping up here as Austin Cheatham moves to the outside. Here comes James Klein on the inside. Second battle in as many laps, fans. Austin Cheatham into Branson Landing 21 in third, having to fight off James Klein into Crane Technologies 41. Klein now trying to move up on the inside. Cheatham shuts the door on him as they go into 3 and 4. Whoa, look out! Wow! James Klein almost sends the 41 into the stratosphere in turn 3. Boy, that's where we saw David McMurray blow over, fans. That is a tough turn here on Lake Taneycomo. James Klein stays on the throttle. He has to. He's got other boats coming up on his 6. Ricky Sober and Rachel Lepadlo are coming up on James Klein as he comes out of turn 2, back on the throttle. Ricky Sober in the 67, one of 3 rookie racers here in Powerboat Nationals Pro Tonal 2 competition. This is his first time racing with Powerboat Nationals, first time on Lake Taneycomo. And looky here, fans, another first timer, Rachel Lepadlo powering on the inside. They're going to go side by side into 3. Sober lets the door open, and Lepadlo just walks right through, bringing that 12 boat around the buoys, and into the top 5 goes Rachel Lepadlo. Fans, this isn't just her first time racing a Pro Tunnel 2 boat. This is her first time racing anything. In her first race ever, Rachel Clapadlo, daughter of our PT1 race winner, Mike Clapadlo, into the top 5. Her dad, Mike, on the radio with her, spotting for her, getting her around the course. He's doing a pretty good job as his daughter moves into the top 5. Trying to catch up with this guy, Jason Nelson, our race leader. Fans, we're going to ride with him out to the break. More racing from Branson on Racer H2O right after this.
This segment of Racer H2O's coverage of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series is brought to you by the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com.
Fans, welcome back to Lake Taneycomo here at Branson Landing, where Powerboat Nationals Pro Tunnel 2 fleet is under caution, and here's why. The 66 of Randy Parch lost power outside of turn 1 and drifted back onto the course, causing the caution to come out. Our friends from Towboat US had to stop by, put him on the hook, take him back to the pits. So that huge lead that Jason Nelson had built up over Thomas Schlarber and the rest of the fleet has now evaporated. Pat Whitcomb has the flag in his hand, ready to get him going, and here we go, fans. Green flag back out. We're racing again in Branson, and here comes Thomas Schlarber back alongside of Jason Nelson. Side-by-side battle for the lead as we come back under green here in Branson, and our pole sitter, Thomas Schlarber, rockets out with the lead, leaving 18 Jason Nelson in his wake. Thomas Schlarber looking to break out the broom and completely sweep this weekend. He swept all 3 rounds of qualifying. And man, he is taking off like a rocket. Here comes Rachel Clapadlo alongside of James Klein. Battle for that 4th place slot as they go into turn 3. Klein not making it easy on the rookie, Rachel Clapadlo, as now there's a battle for the lead again. Here comes Jason Nelson on the inside, looking to swap positions again into turn 1. Nelson on the inside, Schlarb on the outside. The Screaming Eagle takes the inside line. That's the shortest way around. And Jason Nelson hops back into the lead. Thomas Schlarb now back into second. Not where he wants to be, fans. He likes to be out in front, but we look off the tail of the Screaming Eagle 18, and Thomas Schlarb tries to rocket up on the outside. Jason Nelson holds onto the inside line. Schlarb tries to get some momentum out of turn 4. Battle for position going into turn 3. Rachel Clapadlo back alongside, pestering James Klein for the 4th place slot. Here they come out of 4, almost making contact, but here comes Rachel Clapadlo on the inside of the veteran Klein. The rookie Rachel Clapadlo into 4th place as they go into turn 1. Can she make it stick as they go through the turns? Rocketing into the turns, and Clapadlo gets spun around. Clapadlo gets turned around outside of turn 2. And she's going to lose 2 slots as Ricky Sobram moves alongside and gets by her. Clapadlo goes from battling for 4th, now back into 6th, and she's going to try to get that 5th place slot back from Sober as they go into turn 3. Clapadlo on the inside, Sober on the outside. He's going to once again leave that door open, and Rachel Clapadlo, she wants to go right through it. Side-by-side battle for 5th as they come down the front stretch, and Rachel Clapadlo back into the top 5 as the 12 moves up 1 more slot. Fans, again, Rachel Clapadlo, her first time racing anything, and she's in the top 5. Side-by-side battle for the leads. They come out of turn 4 once again. Schlarb trying to use the momentum in the turns, and here he comes trying to move on the outside of leader Jason Nelson. 6 laps to go in this race. Side-by-side battle for the lead. Nobody's looking anywhere but turn 1 in Branson right now as this battle heats up and continues. Now into turn 2. On the backstretch they go. Jason Nelson, your leader on the inside. Thomas Schlarb into 72 on the outside. Schlarb was the pole sitter of this race, fans. Jason Nelson beat him to the whole shot on lap 1. And man, these two are putting on a show here in Branson. The Screaming Eagle 18, Jason Nelson, our 2018 Series World Champion, now trying to stretch his lead out as the battle for 4th continues. Rachel Clapadlo on the outside of James Klein now. Here she comes on the outside as they go into turn 3. Rachel Clapadlo, the rookie, daughter of our PT1 race winner, Mike Clapadlo, showing some serious moxie out here on Lake Taneycomo, trying to get up into that 4th place slot. Meanwhile, battle for the lead heating up again. Here they go into turn 3. Thomas Schlarb showing some serious speed on the backstretch, moving right up alongside of Jason Nelson, but Nelson gets him in the turns. Schlarb has to stay on the outside. That's a long way around this course. And Jason Nelson on the inside taking a short way around this course. But here comes Schlarb showing some serious horsepower, screaming into turn 1. Side by side they go. Nelson holds the line, roads right around those buoys, making Schlarb go wide into the turn. Schwarb's got to activate the afterburners on the backstretch, trying to catch up and move up alongside of Jason Nelson. He shows some power on the straightaways, but Nelson has that inside line and that experience on how to get that boat around those turns. Look at him just hook that 18 boat around the turn 4 buoy. Holds the lead as they scream down the front stretch to the delight of the thousands of fans here at Branson Landing. Side-by-side battle going into one again. Schlarb not giving up. Moving alongside of Jason Nelson, gets in front of him. Here they go through the turns. Can he do it out of turn 2? Nelson on the inside, Schlarb on the outside. Thomas Schlarb takes the lead, but here comes Nelson screaming up on the inside in that Screaming Eagle 18. But Schlarb now moving up. He's got to slam the door on the 18. Schlarb now holding that outside line coming out of turn 4. Nelson now holds the inside line, does a great turn around the buoys. They're going to go shoulder to shoulder down the front stretch, crossing the line. 2 laps to go here on Lake Taneycomo with Branson Landing, and Thomas Schlarb trying to stretch his lead out. Not an easy thing to do against a past champion of Jason Nelson. Nelson on the inside, Thomas Schlarb on the outside. Schlarb, serious horsepower on that Evinrude engine powering the 72 boat down the backstretch. He's holding the lead, but for how long? A lap and a half remaining here, and here comes Jason Nelson on the inside. He comes up on the inside of Thomas Schlarb. Jason Nelson back into the lead as they come out of turn 4. Can he make it stick as they cross the line? Pat Whitcomb has the white flag in his hand, and there it is. 1 lap to go. 4 more left-hand turns here on Lake Taneycomo. Thomas Schlarb powering on the outside. Here they go side by side into the first turn. Schlarb stays on that throttle a little bit longer than Nelson. He lurches out with the lead. Here we go, fans. Last time down the backstretch, and it's a drag race. 72, Thomas Schlarb, the pole sitter, in the lead. Jason Nelson in the Screaming Eagle 18 now, trying to move up on the inside. Final 2 turns of the Pro Tunnel 2 main event here in Branson. Nelson on the inside, Schlarb goes way wide out of the turn. Nelson moves to the inside. Here they come, fans. Side by side to the checkered. Who's it going to be? Jason Nelson, by the beak of the Screaming Eagle on the 18 boat, wins here in Branson. Wow, what a finish. Let's take another look here, fans. You can see how close it was as Jason Nelson gets around Thomas Schlarb and wins Powerboat Nationals Pro Tunnel 2 feature race. Wow, what a finish. We'll catch up with our race winner in the post-race show here in Branson right after this.
When in Branson, stay where the Powerboat Nationals action is. Stay at Hilton's of Branson. Shop, dine, play, and stay at Branson Landing and Hilton's of Branson.
Racer H2O's coverage of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series was brought to you by the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com.
Fans, welcome back to Branson Landing here in Branson, where we're showing you the shot that every Powerboat Nationals driver wants to take. It's that GoPro shot of the victory lap being taken by Jason Nelson here on Lake Taneycomo, where we welcome you to the Branson post-race show. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com. Let's take a look at the official results of the race. Jason Nelson on top. Thomas Schlarb, who was the pole sitter, man, did he put up a fight. Just couldn't get the job done. Austin Cheatham brought the Branson Landing 21 into third, but now Mikey Young is standing by with our PT2 race winner.
We got Jason Nelson here, a.k.a. J-Dub. Congratulations. He took a second in those heat races, but, man, you came out firing when it came to the main event.
Yeah, this course is pretty demanding. It's pretty narrow. There's probably one and a half racing lanes, so if you don't have the right position, it's kind of hard to pass. So, anyway, we luckily got Schlarb down to the first turn in the final and kind of checked out, thank God. So,
well, you know, it looked like a tough fight there right around the end of the race. So Schlarb was he was kind of pressuring, but the Screaming Eagle came through.
Yes, sir. We had went about 20 laps, I guess, and I had a caution, and he was tough after the caution. I mean, we battled for like the next 10 laps deck to deck, so it was a tight race.
Yeah, you know, after that caution, I was trying to explain to the crowd that, hey, you know, now they're going to be all backed up. I mean, you had a half-lap lead. I mean, you had it pretty much in the bag. All you had to do was just keep her together. But then they backed you all back up, and that kind of tightened things up.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, man, you never know what's going to happen in boat racing. You just keep plugging away, and good things might happen.
Fans, as always, we had an absolutely fantastic time here in Branson. We can't wait to come back. Congratulations to your PT1 race winner, Mike LaPadlo, and to our PT2 race winner, the 18 of Jason Nelson. For the entire Racer H2O crew, I'm Jared Romsberg. Thank you so much for watching, fans. If we don't see you here in Branson, we'll see you at racerh2o.com.